Namaste everyone. I, Pranav Bapat, a student of IIT Madras, warmly welcome our chief guest, Dr. Rajan ji, respected faculties and students on behalf of Vande Mataram family. Vande Mataram, a national song, is the spirit of unity in diversity. It echoes the idea of our true culture of bravery, sacrifice and oneness with everything. Sung by Dr. Rabindranath Tagore and hailed by Aurobindo Ghosh as the name of his nationalist magazine, Vande Mataram's rousing words became the rallying cry of the Swadeshi movement and captured the imagination of our nation fighting the colonial rule. The purest national spirit is associated with Vande Mataram, and it remains a melody with the power to touch the nation's collective conscience. We take pleasure in calling upon Sudhaji to sing our national song, Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujilam, Suphalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam, Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra Jyotsnaam, Pulakitayamineem, Phullakusumita Drumadala Shobhineem, Suhasineem, Sumadhurbhashineem, Sukhadam Varadam, Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Thank you, Sudhaji. Our Vande Mataram family aims to conduct events that introduces and sensitizes the student community of IIT Madras about India's rich cultural, economic, socio-political, scientific and technological heritage, its relevance today, its contemporary issues, and the corresponding thoughts about the road ahead. Let us all welcome our chief guest, Dr. Rajan ji, to the dais. So I request you to come to the dais. I humbly request Professor Bharat Bhikaji sir to welcome our chief guest and present a fruit basket as a token of our appreciation. Thank you, sir. On behalf of Vande Mataram family, I feel honored to introduce Dr. Yagnaswami Ranjan. Dr. Rajan has a proven track record of excellence as a scientist, technologist, administrator, organization builder, and a leader. He has been a diplomat, academic, writer, and poet as well. He has made key contributions to space research, technology, and applications since 1964 and continues to be an important expert on space matters. His contributions in shaping ISRO from its initial experimental phases into a major service delivery organization has been remarkable. He has worked with Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston, USA, and NASA for about 3 years. After a 30-year-long stint with the Government of India, he joined the leading industry association in India, Confederation of India Industry, CII. As the principal advisor from 2004 to 2010, he created a unique mechanism at CII for university-industry collaboration. He is an expert in environmentally sound technologies, satellite meteorology, remote sensing, mapping systems, and intellectual property rights. He was actively involved in evolving policies and procedures related to adopting IPR laws in India post the WTO situation in 1995, and also in preparing the Indian industry and institutions to master IPR issues. He is also a prolific writer and has written on a variety of subjects, including science, technology, business, youth, leadership, social and ethical issues. He has written 7 books of poetry in Tamil, which have been critically acclaimed by eminent Indian poets. He was awarded the Padma Shri Award by the President of India on 2012. Today, Dr. Y.S. Rajan will deliver his much anticipated talk on my Tryst with science and technology in India. The talk will be followed by a brief Q&A session. I request you to reserve your questions for the Q&A session. I request Dr. Y.S. Rajan to come to the stage and deliver this talk.
Thank you, the faculty who have taken trouble to come here, and the students. I am going to do things without much of PPT. In between, I may ask 1 or 2 questions. First of all, when I started writing this, when I started writing, I thought about it quite a bit, because they said you share your experience with some personalities, which there are some examples before. So I said that let me see, it was a long history going back. So that is why I called it as my Tryst with science and technology in India. So I had to take back to see what was the nucleus inside. So when I started writing, I like to write because I was somewhat trained by Prof. Dhawan. So you can discuss anything, but when you have to talk or something, you better write down. So in starting, so I have to say like this: Vande Mataram என்போம் என்ற மாநில தாயை வணங்குதும் என்போம். Many of you may not know Tamil. Have you heard it? How many of you heard it? Okay, few. But only those who have heard Tamil. We will only, it just says, we will say Vande Mataram. I am giving a rough translation. We will say we bow to our mother of this great land, the man who sang it in the very beginning of the 20th century, somewhere between 1900 to 1910. He has also written about women, how he foresees how the woman will be, how the India will be. He has foreseen many things. He was the great inspirer in my life. Can you say who it is? Subramania Bharati. Good. Anyway, good, thanks. You remember that. There, I am going to say something first in Tamil, because his Tamil is exceptionally forceful. காசி புலவர் பேசுமுறைதான் காஞ்சியிற் கேட்பதற்கு ஒரு கருவி செய்வோம், ஆயுதம் செய்வோம், நல்ல காகிதம் செய்வோம், ஆலைகள் வைப்போம், கல்வி சாலைகள் வைப்போம், சந்திர மண்டலத்தியல் கண்டு தெரிவோம், சந்தி தெருப்பெருக்கும் சாத்திரம் கற்போம். See what a sweep. I'll give the translation again. What is talked about, this again same 1910, what is talked about but the great scholars in Kashi, we will make an instrument to be heard in Kanchipuram. Nothing even of a radio communication. I think he would have read something, he kept on reading, something like that. We will make instrument to make it in Kanchi. We will make armaments, Ayudam Shaivom. And he didn't stop there. Nalla Kahidam Shaivom. We will make papers too. We will build factories and education institutions. Then Chandira Kalvi Chalegal Vepon, that is what it comes. Chandira Mandalatil, just see it. Chandira Mandalatil Kandu Dalivom. We will see how the moon is. The science of it. We will know. Sandhi Theruperikum for streets, how to clean the streets. See, there are many who will talk about it. He is a great poet. He also looks at how the application also will be of science. Not just the knowledge, but also. So it is a very fantastic one. It comes under the thing, a poem which comes. Velli Panimaragil Vidula, and all that thing will come. That one is Bharata Desham. These thoughts were embedded into me by the age of 10, because I was studying in Palangotai, St. Xavier's School. Role of science, as he saw much more. There are so many other things which are there. Not just in publishing papers, which also he liked, because Chandira Mandalati al while he admired the basic knowledge too. Still, you know what my desire was? Was not to become science. I wanted to become a Tamil poet. So I took, they call Shirappu Tamil, special Tamil. In addition to your regular this thing, I took it. Whereas most fellows will take Sanskrit, because they can get very high marks in SSLC, so that they can get better admissions. So stupid decisions, but one does it. So that is Xavier's College, Palayangota. I enjoyed, not college, school. But what was bugging me, I looking back, I think it was lurking in me, seeing that all the Tamil teachers were the poorest fellows. They were not even having a proper chapel. The maths professors were the maths teachers were the highest rich, because they had a lot of tuitions, because everybody will be bunking in this, they will have tuitions, even in those days. I am telling you, 53 to 57 time frame. Even now, maybe, yes. So, then family moved to Bombay. 1957, I joined SSLC in a SIA school, that is 11th. It's a stupid decision of the family, all Tamil medium, but switching over to English medium. But the way they taught the Tamil medium will be within bracket, they will give English. And my English was better than many of them there. Because our English teacher with one class will have Pressy writing, oh God, so many, I still remember that Arulapan. Then I was 13 years old. Bharati was with me all that, I had a book. So my Attimber, it is called, uncle through aunt, for father's brother, father's sister's husband. Then he had such a huge collection of all books, everywhere, anything to book, to philosophy, to everything. Enter Swami Vivekananda, Jawaharlal Nehru and many other, Discovery of India, glimpses, all that thing. Vivekananda also emphasized science, Nehru too. October 57, Sputnik goes up. I was in the school. I happened to be shot because for various reasons, I had some 3-4 years, I had a jump. I won't dwell on all that detail now. So there will be some function in which they give a slip to everybody to read. Then we were taking out, Soviet Union sent a Sputnik into space. Who sent the Sputnik into this class? I was short fellow there. I was proud of the Soviet achievement. Very good for some reason, Nehru and all that stuff. First time, etc. But nobody in India at that time, even later, about 6 years I studied in Bombay University, nobody knew about space. In the physics book, some atomic energy, fusion, fission will be there, even a rocketry. India by that time, world has gone, India also has entered. It has shot some 63 test shot, but that is too early, but at least other things came. It was not there. But I had gone into the science stream in college without a clear idea as what I will do. I am going to tell you frankly, because many people think that life is a single linear path in which you go, you think, it is targeted, you get it. It's not. Occasionally one Arjuna can be a very temporary one. He can took the fish, that is only for the one item he did. And that too was a challenge. But how they went there was not, he didn't pre-plan it before. So that's the reason I am going to tell you as it is, for you to understand, because for you to understand, not for any other reason. But some idea was there. Because science, there is a lot of applications. This was there in me. So I went to the MSc Physics with electronics. Again, my greatest love at that time was mathematics. I skipped it because at Bombay University, even the gold medalists were trying to getting a problem as a tutor, whereas a physics or a chemistry people will immediately get a job as a lecturer. That was the situation in Bombay. I don't know what it is now. So there was some sort of a utilitarian streak in me, it appears. So let me ask, what is this Tryst? Gave the thing, Nehru's great sentence, what is Tryst? I don't know how many of you went to dictionary to find out what a Tryst is. Did anybody find out what a Tryst is? Come on, good, you are coming close, tell me. Meeting is not just meeting. Engagement, slightly more. It's a pre-arranged meeting, rendezvous. These are the things. That means there is something you plan and then do it and then meet it. That is what is called Tryst. I don't know why Jawaharlal Nehru said that Tryst with destiny. But anyway, for me also, what was it for me? At each stage in my life, whether at a unit of week, month, decades, I did not see any pre-arranged meeting of opportunity or event in life. That's how it was. And later I find for many people it is so. When I look back now, past 70, I'll be finishing, 76 will be in this April, it appears that God has ordained something for me. Each twist and turn in my life, some of the great joys and some of the terrible disappointments, all of them seem to have been predetermined to chalk out a course of life for me. It's very, very strange. When I look back now, it looks like that. But I don't regret any of them. But when I was moving in life, market, when I was moving in life, I have not been fatalistic, even not now. It appeared to me that I took conscious decision, not always pre-planned ones. So it was, so when I went to the interview the first time, so I have not gone for a second interview afterwards. That was space program. It was not called space program then, physical research laboratory. Because some people, when I used to say physical research, oh, saab, ye hai kya? So that is what it was, knowledge of physical research, 1964. Okay? Sarabhai, all that thing, some 200 odd person, etc., etc. I won't get into it. Successful. Moved to Ahmadabad. I needed the princely sum of rupees 300 for the PhD, doing PhD and also doing this work. To support my Periyappa and Periyamma, my this one, because who they took care because we lost mother. That's the reason we went down south. Otherwise, we should have been in Bombay. Anyway, I learned a lot there. Beautiful library. I almost read everything from Chandrasekhar's magnetohydrodynamics to everything, advances in electronics, then so many other books. Engineering, law, and lot of Marxism too, and some economics. I used to be a regular contributor to EPW. A great because student concession they give, so I used that to get it. A great Vikram Sarabhai was my next door neighbor. Actually, it is this thing. Next one is that at PRL. A very magnetic personality. When you see it, I was reminded only about what Jamshed Tata, J.N. Tata, one American architect, has told when he was made for a steel plant. He says, I could not resist that man. He coming all the 3 months travel. He just says it is a piffly little Tata steel plant. I couldn't resist it. That I remembered. Always, never felt a difference of conversing with him. There was always things. These were very important things in life. He is a very big man. But you are just talk to him, director, PRL, so many other things he was. So he took away unnecessary fears in mind. Acham tabir. This is what Bharati says. One of the small mantras he says, Acham tabir. Shun fear. Later in my life, when asked what I learned from Vikram Sarabhai, sometime later, 8 or 10 years ago, somebody wanted to interview me, and I wrote it also. I learned 3 things. What he taught is known to him. Intellectual irreverence, repeating it, intellectual irreverence, organizational discipline, innate humanism. Many people, they don't use intellectual irreverence, they show irreverence, they don't have the intellectual part of it. But even after having it, when a huge systems have to be achieved, you need organizational discipline. And that is what made an innate humanism. He wanted that to everywhere. True even now as a guiding principles of a life. Many more greats of the Indian space program. Now I have to fast forward. I am very happy that Professor Ravi Kumar was telling he was having he knew about Dr. Brahm Prakash. Any one of you heard Dr. Brahm Prakash? Any one of you heard S. Dhawan? Okay. So one may not see him, but at least know that he is no more. So a few people. Brahm Prakash, one of the greatest, those duo was not, anyway, I will tell about it quickly. So I was moving with so many of those greats. I was just gotten out of my 20s. Moving with them. All this I could see. It is during that period I met Dr. Kalam also, 1965. Between us, there is 12.5 years difference. He used to come from Tryst, Trivandrum for scientific rocket payload. At that time I was very much in science yet for the scientific payload. But later and U.R. Rao. How many know U.R. Rao? Only 2-3. He is the first person who made India satellite having Aryabhat. And under a very interesting situation, after about 3 to 4 months of regular weekly meeting, after about 2 years of working for the PhD, cosmic rays, etc., I just said I'm quitting. So he made me to do all that thing. Then I quit PhD program. He put me as an engineer in INCOSPAR. It is precursor to ISRO. he did not let me go. So my entire career path is changed. Getting into so-called research and other things, it went into engineering, rocket payloads, etc. Then, again, looking back, it's a great hand of destiny. Closeness to Sarabhai, rocket transponder, design and successful delivery of that one in a short period, because those gives confidence to you, and it worked. Led to going to MIT Lincoln Lab, inside study, you all see all the satellites, everything which you get, all the communication, we were the first original fellows who went to MIT Lincoln Lab. Some 4 or 5 along with that. As my wife joined me later in the USA with our little fellow, and he tells, a life in USA at a young age makes one independent and self-reliant. It is true even today. Most of you would like to see that somebody helps you. You have to learn, you have to plan yourself. And that was also a great learning. Learned a lot about life and lots of space satellite technology. When I was 3 years in NASA, many used to ask me, Mr. Rajan, somebody will say Rajan or something, did you go to school in USA? Because for them in 70s, anybody who can do equal, dealing with that lambda function for the antenna to anything, some of them have to be done original, will just say, it can't be from some other country other than USA. That was the perception. Now it is changed. So I used to say, I never studied in anywhere in USA. So that's the thing. But I learned a lot from them. Importantly, project management skills, how the things are delivered, and how professional it is done. Reviews which are done, it is professional. It is not just to simply sit, okay, this will go. Rigorous ones. And Sarabhai's death came when it was there. There is a poem in my English book. I got 3 original English book poems also, Agony and Harmony. In that, a great man's death will come. I won't tell more about it. And I learned from those companies, American companies which were doing. I was even offered a job, but I didn't take it because the bondage there was no bond, there was no legal bond, but the bondage of ISRO, the program which you inspired, that we have to do all that, that was remaining. Nothing very much on the hard paper, other than paper, led to being taken by Professor Dhawan to ISRO. So he was very keen that I come to ISRO headquarters. I wanted to design, my desire was to do satellites and etc., doing those things, lot of hardware and other things. Of course, there will be a lot of other software, project management. Professor Dhawan wanted me in ISRO headquarters. This was more like a corporate thing, thinking and planning, but lot of technical work. And I resisted. I am very young, I have not seen him before. So then I told him, I still remember that scene, it was in a Centaur Hotel in Bombay. Sir, I hear within ISRO that ISRO headquarters is a mortuary. You know what a mortuary is? ISRO headquarters is a mortuary. There is a very important reason for it. I won't dwell on it detail now. It was a great reply from him. I was wondering what he would do. I didn't bother. That fearlessness, I'm telling a fact. So he just swung 3 words. Well, it depends. Then he started. He told so many things. He had a plan about what it was. I didn't understand many items. So I was in ISRO headquarters. I became the youngest scientific secretary ISRO. There was one before, but this name which was there, I was assisting Aryabhatta too with UR Rao. Then it is somewhat akin to COO in the modern corporate organization, but with a lot of work on strategic planning and etc. Due to that, I had to work with Dr. Brahmprakash, one of the great person in modern Indian science. He did it for atomic energy, many don't know. Today you see Midani, metallurgy, this word, so many things, all the public sector is due to him. And T.N. Seshan. To work with T.N. Seshan and come unscathed is a great thing, but there's a great learning. A lot of administrative and other things. A rapid growth in an entirely new direction. It was this, one direction, another direction. Broadly directed by Professor Dhawan, but a trodden, in fact, marathon and sprint by me. Most exciting, but also the most difficult period. Even now, looking back also I can say. Many top management of ISRO, great achievers, were at least 15 to 20 years elder to me. Grade I won't get, huh? In ISRO is a very interesting thing. They will give you a responsibility, this thing, but grade will be, that will go in the normal mode. Maybe you may get 1 year advantage or something. It doesn't change. They will all be 2-3 grades above me. But still, managerial responsibility and authority will be there. So we're at 15 years. Kalam was 12.5 years later, but I had a lot of powers. But I never felt it. Nor did it make me arrogant, because these are all the initial making of it. A great certificate to that effect was given by Dr. Kalam later in his life, in his book, Wings of Fire, 1998. I had the fortune of having Mr. O.S. Rajan from ISRO headquarters as my friend in those times. Rajan was and is a universal friend. His friendship embraced with equal warmth turners, fitters, electricians, drivers, as well as scientists, engineers, contractors, bureaucrats. Today, when the press calls me, that is Kalam, as the welder of people, I attribute this to Rajan. His close interaction with the different work centers created such a harmony in space SLV affairs that fine threads of individual efforts were woven into a mighty fabric of great strength. Why did he have to write it in 1998? Where he was a very big man, missile man, very close to getting, it was not got Bharat Ratna, very close to this thing. He was a secretary to Government of India, big man. I don't know what, but why I am reading it out is not to tell about me. It's about some of the great people they were. Many won't bother. Oh, this fellow, they may not even see you when they have become big. So these are the type of people was having. What did he have to do? I don't know. And that too, I had left ISRO. He had left ISRO. I was working on something else. But of course, he was connected with me. We were always close. But I have friends from ISRO even now. Vikram Sarabhai's warmth he gave me when I was in PRL and later for about 7 years. The freedom he gave later to work in ISRO with many colleagues, and the working with the best institutions all around in USA. Later the mighty force of Dhawan and a solid, but I am telling solid colossus, but a Dharmaputra, Dr. Brahmprakash. It is written, even Dr. Kalam often refers to him that he would not have had SLV3 but for Brahmprakash and Dhawan. T and Session, etc. from my early 30s. All these have shaped me. Bharati, Vivekananda, Buddha and many others including Marx might also have been in my inner things. Love given gives back love. So it was not a wishy-washy, but it was not a wishy-washy goody-goody boy. This is what you should understand. Now I am going to tell you some of the realities, what happens. It was in ISRO, it was in other things. Any job you people will go in, it will be so. Even within IIT, I won't say that professor should say anything. It will all be same, because we are all human beings. The complex processes of work. So, I am supposed to have been a very tough person, forthright person. Almost everybody tells it. To the best of my knowledge, I always work with the best interests of ISRO and therefore of India. The mighty Dhawan would have kept a great watch. Maybe or may not be. His method of keeping persons good and productive was to place trust. Between us, there is a huge personal correspondence. I criticized him sometimes, some in the interest of ISRO only. Some you are delaying this matter, this one, all that. Some he has asked for, which I have written it that way. He won't say criticize me, he will write down on this, but these are the following things. So all that thing are there. So can you imagine? There are many. I have got some tens of thousands of things in the ISRO papers, but this is something confidential to be opened by addressee. Some only are handwritten. Even many of my competent notes would be in ISRO files. So all that I have told you, critiqued him, etc., etc. Then this may come to something like 1,000 odd pages. A day before he left, he called me, Rajan, You had written me so many things, and I kept. He had got a Russian bag. This is 10 years of work. 10 years with. Kept it very carefully. Do you want it, or you want to put it in the file? Sir, all the typed ones will be. I was shocked. Oh, what? I thought I have written and over. Some of the things you would not have discussed. Some he discusses. He gave it to me. Take. Sir, all the typed one will be there. A few handwritten one may not be there. They were too personal. Anyway, whatever it is, you keep it and do what you want with it. It went on. I kept them carefully. Later, sometime in between, I used to see. Very recently, for 7 or 8 years, I read. They were real treasures about how ISRO was working, because each of them will be almost weekly type of thing would have been there. There was some 25 hours of difference. Can you imagine then that I have already told. Then I had carefully keeping them. I started looking at them. I have used them to write something about ISRO. I have written all that, because all that will be a link. It will reenact many things, because also when you have to write something, you should not depend only on your memory. You all know, you are all research people. You need some clue which is there, some paper which is there connected. What a great man is this. So you will look at most people, they will do some notorious or very bad act. They would like that to be painted very nice. Here a person is some subordinate who writes all sorts of things, and then he has kept it, and because he had a great historic sense. We had some common features of outlook in our life. Very few persons in the world would have had this opportunity to be shaped by a great scientist, engineers, and brilliant techno managers, visionary, and a great humanist like Professor Dhawan. From the age of 30, his guidance to me continued much later. Dr. Brahm Prakash also was a great mentor simultaneously. Very often it doesn't take place. It was a rare period in ISRO and ISRO's S&T and India. Most of it, I tell it in many places, so I will tell it here also. It will be very hard to see two exceptionally capable people working together as number one and number two. It's true everywhere. Even in private sector, don't think private sector, the things are also equally bad. But here, Brahm Prakash actually is a little senior to him. So he worked, and two great persons, and number one, and I was a gainer too, and that is also a great experience. Dr. Kalam mentions about both of them in his books and speeches. Then Seshan Y.S. Das. Why I am mentioning about the bureaucrat is, many people always say bureaucrats and academics and versus academic versus. It is not true. All of them have to work together, because you are after all, Professor Dhawan used to say, we are after all getting the money of the taxpayers. We have to be accountable publicly. So that requires a system. So now, this is all the thing. That administrative experience, that was desired by Professor Dhawan. He pushed me into it. The deep, in fact, I asked him, sir, what have you made this? He made a big smile. Sometimes, very rarely, he makes this type of smile. So he did. Come on, good luck. That's all he will say. Otherwise, he can talk quite a bit. He can be talking. Then leadership to UN delegation, knowing many of those diplomatic things. It is very, very interesting. We have to take care of many strategic interests of India. They will all be couched in things. Why I am telling you, some of you may have gotten into this. It may be like an agreement. It may be like a treaty. Under some words, interest of the country will be compromised. And I have seen many of our fellows willingly compromise because they will get some benefit of some post. Sorry to say this, but that's how life is. That is how the India has been. The deep, this thing. Then also lot of strategic studies of ISRO right from 1975. You know what the strategic thing is. Looking back, I wonder what Professor Dhawan saw in me, what he wanted me to become later in life. I also didn't know he had made it. Then of course Kalam. In ISRO, he was relatively a junior level, the lower level of the top management. All the pecking order is important every place. Whatever it is, it becomes. That is why I said about organizational discipline. He was a project director SLV3, he had a lot of power, but he wasn't this one. I can mention many other names. Y.J. Rao, U.R. Rao, Wing Commander Rao, Dr. Govardikar, Dr. E. Muthanayagam, M.R. Kurup, some seniors, many other seniors, then hundreds of others equal level, junior to me, and what a learning. They are all coming before me when I was writing. It's like the 33 lakhs or 33 crore type of thing. It was not that much, but at least some 330 of them will come before me. It was not, with saving all this, it was not everything in ISRO life was like a milk and honey. It was not a hunky-dory, to use American expression, not a bonhomie, nor a great nice orchestra. Indeed, no. You should realize you will all go away, go into office life, actually working life, linear world ends. Then you don't know whether it is non-linear or what it is. You can't even characterize the strategy. You will do it afterwards, much like me, I am doing now. It was like anything other than anything else, because a lot of dynamic, bright professionals see their livelihood, prestige, pride in it, in the work. There was jealousies, intense competition, some fair, some through non-fair means, conflicts, professional and personal. Some had misused their administrative and managerial powers to settle personal and professional scores. All of them are there. I know hundreds of it, because especially I was in that sitting level. Still, ISRO work went on. Even now it is going on well. Whatever some people may write here and there, but Professor Dhawan's great statement, we used to discuss some of it, because sometimes you may have to make managerial changes, etc. Long discussions will be there. Says, these fellows. But Rajan, work well. The same team, two fellows will be wanting to hit each other, but still work well. They will work and then it will deliver. ISRO is a great in teamwork, but it had its own internal tribal formations, tribal conflicts, intertribal and intra-tribal conflicts, also new alliances of tribes. Okay, Dr. BP and Dhawan were above all this. Therefore, unfortunately, I can't align myself to any of the tribal groups. You are not supposed to, because you are conflict of interest in the work. So, but it will be against. There were some few more people who had to fulfill those roles in the centers. So, I had to be interacting fairly, this thing, etc. So, but future could be in jeopardy. But what Kalam had described as Vishwamitra, or universal friend, involved gulping some of these poisons too. Each organization needs a few people like these altruistic genes. Which one of you will become, you can't say now. You can't say, I want to become an altruistic gene, I am going to be a martyr. No. It will come on. Actual life, you will suddenly get. Such experiences helped me later in TIFAC work, loose S&T organizations, many of them academia, industries, we have worked with IIT professors, many of them business, bureaucracy, so many. A greater work for using science and technology for the people, which is what the desire of Vikram Sarabhai. It was not only in space. Space was all the uses. In addition, he saw so many other things. My writings with Professor Dhawan mention these realities. So, sooner or later I said that I have to leave, because that system, you can't work in the same way, because there will be tribal conflicts. So, you have to quit. So, reasonably, but I said it has all become reasonably robust, sir, you leave me, because some of them will be there in that papers. Such situation led to, even for Dr. Kalam, after a successful thing of SLV3, it led to 2 years of vegetative period between 80 to 82. Go and read Wings of Fire. He being, Dr. Kalam being such a good, nice man all the time, so you will just only write to those periods, sir. But he has told me many times, sir, for a vegetable Ironman, sir, ange irunda, he has used that. So, anyway, but he went on, he joined the missile program, so many other things. So, I will put these things, a major task done by me in ISRO, or played a great role. You know, I have described about the personalities and other things. Development decade of profile, 1980-90, 1990-2000. Other was to establish national natural resource management system, which will be the whole resources based remote sensing. Some strategic institutions which are working well, that is to know what is happening across the borders. All that, then UR Rao took over. some difficult conflicts too. I had the same position, moderating one of it, not always easy. One director, one very senior director who had contributed great to leave. He came then to DST, TN session has gone to Delhi, and he asked me, anyway I was to leave, so it came. Finally I got into DST 1988 to establish TIFAC, Technology Information, that is from the scratch. But this is after a series of twists and turns. It was not a trajectory which I could get. I had two roles as an advisor DST and executive director. Vasant Govarikar, who was in DST, the great propellant man, who brought me this one, and his chairman was Dr. V. Krishnamurthy. Why I am mentioning is Dr. V. Krishnamurthy, many of you would not even think him anywhere near a scientist or anywhere. But he is the man who had done a great deal for indigenous work in BHEL, later in SAIL, many of it. He was the thing. I learned a lot about how technologies have to be used for industry and how industries can use it for market. So it was a great learning. Then there were so many others in the council. If I mention some and not mention some, it will be this one. So we did not only the studies, but did things. Fly ash machine. Today, all the fly ash which is used, almost everything is used now. It was in 93, it was only 3%. So many of the people, engineers, were not joining power stations because their wives will say, what the hell, our quarters are all full of fly ash. So anyway, there's again, one of the person who made a great deal was IIT Delhi director V.S. Raju. Like that we have got so many. Then steel, leather, etc. Not just stayed with reports, but with projects. So that gave, because it is not only this, you have to keep continuously doing actions. Homegrown technologies, they are the forerunner of many venture capital items. There are many success stories there, so more than 300 to 400 projects. In September 93, Kalam was also associated with the composite project. He became secretary DD&D, then started the Vision 2020, because the organizers wanted me to tell a little bit about it. Vision 2020 exercise, because you have done all this, can we not? He asked that people. And what it was not like ISRO. So one organization, even though we have got users, there's an organized system. Here, some industry somewhere, somebody are things, sometimes there is conflict of interest will be so high. The steel makers will want certain things to be done. The steel users would like to import. They won't like this to be done because I can get it somewhere cheaper. So these are the things. So there is no, because most of the S&T institutions and academic institutions in India didn't have any focused end product. When I am saying this, I am not saying that people should leave basic research and academic research, but there a link has to be maintained. Sarabhai has talked very well on this. I am not going to tell on that now. He has talked very well, therefore I kept it with me in case any one of you wanting to know. Probably it may get loaded into my this thing. So no projectization, no teamwork. See many of our CSIR and many of those labs, great individually great persons. Each person. So we used to call it as amoebism of our system. It grows to a size, it splits. Even the head of the department and the person, scientist D who is working there, won't work on the same item. You have to leave it like that. It was a very difficult situation, but with all this, DST, huge funds are given. That is the reason why India is not able to do any technology. Not to 5G, Huawei. At that time when we started the Vision 2020, China's technological or economic and other situation, 1990, roughly similar. Those fellows, now they are doing 5G, launching it first. Whereas we were struggling with 2G, none of the telecom is being done. There is no software product of India being done here on any item. So I don't want to tell all of that. So because the powers that be for the science and technology, they wanted it that way. Who they are? There were bitter fights between the top leaders of S&T, and we bore the brunt. Govarikar, because Govarikar was an action-oriented man. As Secretary DST, he wanted to do. He said, I will allow you also, but allow this. garbage processing plant, and all that has been done on a massive scale in Bombay. Unfortunately, the 93 riots, many of them went away. Then TIFAC core, variety of things, I am not going to mention it. I consider TIFAC core really my trust, as my trust with S&T. All the inner working which I referred to before. Chandra Mandalathiyal Kandu Thiruvom, Chatiram Gatpom. So that one, inner working I referred to before, coupled with the experimental ground of ISRO for national reach, made that possible. Kalam coming to Delhi, and then he being a chairman, TIFAC, that provided a kavach against many of these attacks. Now the tribals were not tribal, they were all outside. They will attack a small new ones. But we did a good job. After finishing the major task, 8 years, I decided to quit the scene. DST I left, then I took a CII, what he mentioned, because what he earned. I would say, some tanka to milna chahiye, 52 years when you do something. But TIFAC I could continue because there was no, basically it was similar. And I was a part of the industry associations, I knew many of it because that was very important, because how they feel, those professors in IIT, some of them I know, who worked for a couple of years with an industry, then their whole outlook is completely different. I've seen them, and then they are good in their own research work and also this. And I was requested to stay on with TIFAC, I continued. Then fast forward, PSA office for 2 years, Punjab Technical University, 2002 to 2002, scientific advisor to Punjab and MOS rank. Great experience of human resource development, a real outreach. See, IIT, you are all very, 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 very lucky people. Very nice, elite institution, protected, and it has some of the features of ISRO which was there. Internal working, you can fight each other and then somebody won't come and interfere with you, which is slowly getting eroded, which also I know, it is sad. But these were the things which made this institution. But bulk of the other colleges, poor chaps, you get them improve. Where they can improve when there is an AICT regulation that you should teach the following syllabus? How many lectures? In fact, when I was in Punjab Technical University Vice Chancellor, I could not even say a lecture is defined as 1 hour delivery, 90 lectures. Poor chap, a new lecturer who came, he was very truthful. He wrote 50 minutes, he will write in the ledger logbook. So what do? Then the principal forwards. I said, Arey Baba, don't raise, there is no waiver I can do. Ask that fellow, tear off the logbook and then make him to write 1 hour. This is the type of petty controls which are there. You should all know. So it's a great experience of that, but still we did quite a bit. Then I left. Then I had a lot of exposure to school education. Then Radhakrishnan. Then I decided at some point of life, 2009, I said enough is enough, done enough. Came to only house in Bangalore. So we also say Bangalore, Namma Uru. It is a very nice, salubrious climate. So we came, we had a small house there. He was kind enough to give me Vikram Sarabhai distinguished professor, so worked with some cream dala cream, 225 young persons. Some of them have become chairman, directors, etc. A major report of the group, a beginning of a new future. Worked with them. I was also a chairman BOG, Board of Governors of NIT Manipur. That is a very, very important thing for me. Because they announce, Government of India announces, but actual practice, afterwards, one act is passed. So you should all realize what is read in your newspapers and what actually takes place are totally different matter. But we have to go through. Science in its fullest form, with its breadth and depth, has been and is a part of my thinking and living, even now. So also the great civilizational knowledge of our country, with its religions, literature, and above all, simple living of Indian people. The bulky base, that maintains India. We are all important, but the bulky base, about 70% of their children don't even go past 8. You realize something, it is not your burden, don't carry it in your shoulder, but you should be aware of it. By God's grace, I am still active doing service and or karma as per my understanding of Bhagavad Gita or the great Tamil Bhakti literature. Fantastic ones about, in fact, my brief period in Tamil Nadu, so all right, in my knowledge of Tamil is very good, so much so that it just comes. It is her grace, it gives. I am leaving it to many other things like books I read, many things I read. It's not that all, I read almost every book, novels to every item. A great S&T persons like Murray Gell-Mann. And how many of you have learned about Murray Gell-Mann? He's at least, nothing else, at least a Nobel laureate. I read without knowing whether he is a Nobel laureate or not. I don't bother. He's a fantastic one. Quark and a Jaguar. Read it. Another one, Max Dulberg. Some of you are doing biology, should know. Max Dulberg. Mind from matter. Oh, fantastic. Then there is another one on civilizational knowledge, Sushanta Gunatilake. Mining, global mining of civilization. There are many. I won't, if I start telling, then I will get lost there. Not told about my loving family, which was crucial in all these professional work, because many don't realize, because that is the anchor, that love and everything which comes there. One last important item, my tryst with science and technology is still incomplete. Okay, for me what I started, it is still incomplete. So I am going to give it to you. Scaling up successes is very difficult in India. We have done in a commercial scale, did it, those fellows are profitable. But about 1,000 times more it could have come. It does not come. It will get improved. There are many unfinished tasks dreamt of by Vikram Sarabhai and therefore transmitted to me and a variety of it. How much of Indian R&D, be it in labs, IITs, industries, have reached large-scale commercialization? It bugs me. Why should I? It is. In Tamil they say Adangam is the word. It is very difficult to translate it into, it is anguish, we'll say. It is not exactly like an anguish. Angst will be much better. Yes, thank you. What about the India's equivalent of SpaceX or nuclear energy plants? So many commercial satellite corporations, India-made aircraft, drones, Google, Microsoft, Huawei, company of a few major software products sold by India globally, manufacturing giants, modernized agriculture with a low water consumption, almost monsoon-proof. It doesn't require any great new breakthrough technologies. They were all hanging around for more than 20 years. I had gone to Israel and also many times. Education for the bulky base, which I said, with modern skills. S&T institution department leaders are partly to blame, partly Indian business persons. But one full this thing, it is not the full story. That's one thing which you people should realize. There are oppressive rules of Government of India. I have written about it, so I will tell it. I have been doing it, we were trying to fight it. That state governments and local bodies, one example, if a product is done, I was talking to a person, former bureaucrat, he says, what to do, sir? This is what they do. If a product is done with Indian R&D market, whether it is IIT, whether it is a private company, it is a BHEL, it is a CSIR or ISRO, doesn't matter, is with an Indian R&D, then they are debarred from quoting for government projects, unless they show two years of export. Even now I went to go to exhibitions, they all say, sir, what is it? Sir, this is the thing which we are struggling. So, lo and behold, this condition is vague. Up till this is bad enough. This condition is like putting a salt in the wound. If that party is having a foreign collaboration, that condition is waived. Therefore, you go and get a foreign partner, sleeping partner, and then say, I am putting this, you can. So, this rule, normally we blame British for making rules. I also blame, oftentimes. But this rule is a really made in India rule. It was not done by British. Okay? These are all, that doesn't come from constitution. This is some bureaucrats, everybody. But all the great powers that be scientists, they are all enjoying. Because they can say, see, afterwards they can say that. So we had been fighting about it, doing our days in TIFAC DST, later in PSA's office. It is more than 70 years. Like this, there are many other blocking rules, not policies. Don't talk about policies. Indians are a great country in making bombastic English. They will say, education policy, they will give you. This policy, they will give you. Gender equality, they will give anything. Big policies will come. But it is the rules who will need to be abolished. If a tryst with all the Indians, with S&T has to be completed with the benefit of all. That is the major job before you all. That is not only change the rules, make all that orientation and the S&T, that orchestration of all of them, trying to get it. We made a lot of struggle in ISRO to do that. But even then, it could have gone much higher where the systems have been. Okay, thank you. I stop
For
here.
addressing the queries. I'm sure your talk proved to be very insightful for our student community. Now I would like to request Professor Shripad Karmalkar sir to present a token of gratitude and appreciation to our chief guest. Thank you, Professor Karmalkar sir. I call upon Vijayanandaji to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening and namaste to one and all present over here. I, Vijayanand, express sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Y.S. Rajanji, on behalf of Vande Mataram family, for sharing his experience in the field of science and technology. I thank professors, our student alumni, and student volunteers for unconditional love and support that you have been giving us for the last 5 years to keep our initiative going. I thank the members of audience for attending this event and would also like to have all of you in the next endeavor as well. Thank you all. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
The last leg of our event, I request everyone to stand up for the national anthem. I request Sudhaji to lead a national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
I'd like to thank everyone who attended this lecture. All the volunteers come up to